Hey guys, and welcome back. It's in the news. Do you remember the funeral home who had Aretha Franklin's body? Yes, that funeral home was Swanson's funeral home, and the state had revoked his mortuary license after reports of decomposing bodies inside his funeral home and other disturbing allegations. Now, since his license were provoked, people are wondering why was O'Neill Swanson II front and center at Aretha Franklin's high-profile funeral. Now, O'Neill Swanson II refused to talk to local investigators who, at that time, was looking into the allegations about his Flint funeral home that's now closed. But he had no problems talking to the reporters from Hollywood and national networks about Aretha Franklin's lavish funeral. And that has the families who say he shattered their trust furious. Now, there have been allegations that they found decomposing bodies in a maggot infested garage, blood stained casket pillows, and complaints about employees working on bodies without protective gear. Now, those are just a few of the allegations that prompted the state investigators to shut down Swanson's funeral home in Flint last year. Now, licensing officials also revoked the mortuary science license of O'Neill Swanson II. Now, at the time, O'Neill Swanson Sr., the owner of the Swanson's funeral homes in Detroit and Pontiac, said his son had no legal or business connection with his father's business. Now, through a spokesperson, Swanson Sr. even said the allegations the state has made against the Flint funeral home are shocking and go against every principle of mortuary science. Now, despite those statements distancing himself from his son, both father and son played a starring role together in the national and international coverage of Aretha Franklin's funeral. Now, this Detroit-based Swanson Funeral Home provided that beautiful classic Cadillac LaSalle hearse that carried the Queen of Soul to her final resting place. Now, at the funeral, Swanson II, who had gotten his license revoked in April, is seen on camera handing out memorial cards, and he wore a gold name badge as he pulled the casket from the church to the waiting hearse. Now, while fans flocked to the public viewing, O'Neill Swanson II gave interviews to CNN, Entertainment Tonight, even Channel 7 Action News. Now, one person who had made allegations about the mishandling of Swanson Funeral Home with her mother is Patricia Williams. She said when she saw him on TV, she couldn't believe he was allowed to do it. Now, Williams thinks the ashes that she received from Swanson's funeral home back in Flint in 2012 were not from her mother, Myrna Duffer. Now, Williams says O'Neill Swanson II never gave her a straight answer when the funeral home couldn't find her mom's body for days. Now, she says it's incredibly painful, and I'm sure. She said, you never forget the love of your mother, for it's forever within you. But when something like this happened and you feel she didn't have a final resting spot, or maybe she's still somewhere that we don't know where she is, we just want to find out. Now, she said, after seeing Swanson on Entertainment Tonight during Franklin's funeral coverage, she was devastated. She said it wasn't a slap in the face. It was like a punch in the face and in the gut. She said she stood up in front of the TV with her mouth open and had tears in her eyes. And then she started getting calls from her brother, her father, her cousin. Everybody was watching. Mm. Now, in addition to revoking his mortuary license, the state fined Swanson $34,000, which he's only paid $5,000, and that was back in May. Hmm. Wow. I tell you, and now they're trying to say that he wasn't doing anything at the funeral, acting as a funeral director. He was just there as a friend of the Franklin's family. Boy, I tell you, that's awful. That is awful. And it looks like a lot of stuff has came from Aretha's funeral. I mean, the day after the funeral, they accused the bishop of fondling Ariana Grande, and then the next day, the family came out, said they wasn't pleased with the reverend who gave the eulogy. He was talking about everything from teenage pregnancies to Black Lives Don't Matter. My goodness, and now this? Wow. But that's awful. I don't know, but I think he's this Swanson's guy got himself in some knee high, you know what? Cause it was in 20, well, maybe it was 2008, 2006. It's been a while. It was a funeral home in Florida, who the funeral association had got uh, complaints that they had bodies, in the funeral home. So the investigators went out to investigate. Funeral home was closed, but it was a hearse in front of the funeral home, and they looked in it and they saw decomposed bodies in there, and it was a lot of bodies. It wasn't one or two. So once they did get into the funeral home, they found out that it was decomposed bodies. They had them in the walls. And also they had buried at as many as 4 people in one casket, because they exhumed the bodies and found out, because this guy was in his county, he was the person to do what you call it, people who don't have money to be buried, or they didn't have family. He would bury them for the state, and the state gave him, like, I think back then it was like 200 and some dollars. So he was putting those people in caskets where people had paid in with their loved ones. I mean, just no respect for the dead. But I've gone off of Swanson, but this is awful. Hmm. I tell you, I know Aretha is just turning in her grave. And I'm sure the family did not know that his license was revoked, because if they did, I'm sure they would have used somebody else, even though they had a close acquaintance. Hmm. What y'all think about this, guys? Just press the comment button and we'll talk about it. Okay, thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you will like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And as always, imparting y'all, be blessed.